What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Oh boy, our favorite Harvard grad is talking again with all the sass and all the smug and all the sneak dissing and all. Boy, hey, it is easy. It is easy, right? How to turn black women conservative. It's easy. Talk about black men. How to turn black women conservative. It's easy. Talk about black boys. There, dear Republicans, I just gave you the secret. Dear you conservatives, I just gave you the secret. You want to see black women turn conservative? Start speaking about doing for black boys or black men, right? You could flip what it was 92%. You could flip that 92%. Republicans just speak about the upward mobility of black boys and black men and how, you know what? Maybe we should do for black boys and black. Have the Democrats say, maybe we should do for black boys. Maybe we should find different programs that are not insulting of black men to encourage black men to attend college and university. Maybe we should cut out some of the misandry talk. Huh? Maybe. And you'll turn black women Republican in 5 seconds, right? Southern strategy black women. Ooh, goddamn, Z. Huh? Southern strategy black women. All you need is a black female version of Lee Atwater and it'll be cake. Huh? Oh boy. Yes, it's that simple. So, in honor of Mr. Z's channel and the torture fest that we have here. Oh, Z, no, Z, you didn't do it. Oh, you know Z did it. Z, no. Yes, yep, yep, yep. The torture. Oh no, Z, there is no way in hell Z was gonna let y'all go without being tortured. And here we go.
One of the craziest developments about the era that we're in is the proliferation of people, particularly men, who are both anti-patriarchy and anti-feminist. What do I mean by that? There's an idea that patriarchy just means men doing whatever they want. No. Patriarchy is very heavily policed, but it's policed by men in order to keep the structural social order sound. Patriarchy is men acting in very narrowly prescribed way, and if you get out of line, who makes you get back in line? Other men. People say the black community is a matriarchy. No, you can't have a matriarchy within a patriarchy. Like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We're living in what bell hooks will call an imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, right? That's in every structure, in every institution. It's in our socialization, okay? What can happen is the men of a community lose the desire or the capacity to police each other effectively, and the prescribed patriarchal social order crumbles, deteriorates significantly. And then after an extended period of those men not having the capacity or desire to police each other, then they say, well, actually freedom is we just do whatever we want and it's the women's fault. What's so crazy is the anti-patriarchy, anti-feminists, we men just want to do whatever they want men, are actually adopting feminist talking points. And I don't know if they know it or I don't know if they care. But what the feminists have always said is in patriarchy, male privilege comes with male obligation and male subjugation. You can't get male privilege without male duty, male responsibility, because you have to uphold the social order, and you're going to be forced to uphold the social order via what? Subjugation. So that means within any patriarchy, there are going to be some men who are going to have to lay the fuck down. And in this one, it's black men. So now you see why we look at the men going so hard.
You see that sneak dish?
Y'all are down because other men put you there. And then you see why we look at the anti-patriarchy, anti-feminist crazy. Because y'all want male privilege, male rule, male domination without male duty, male responsibility, or male obligation. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you know what a great example of this is? Child support. Men get mad at women for child support when child support is structured through the U.S. criminal legal system. Who runs that system? Who created it? Who develops the rules? not women, and certainly not Black women. Child support is a great example of how patriarchal structures, white supremacist capitalists, patriarchal structures force men to get in line. So if you think you're being oppressed by child support, you're being oppressed by who? And I know somebody's going to say, oh, well, the women file. Why do the women have to file? Why aren't you, as a wannabe patriarch, voluntarily taking care of your children? Patriarchy literally means of the father. You're not a patriarch. My dad, old school patriarch, literally used to say, men who don't take care of their kids deserve to be shot. That's old school patriarch. The new school patriarchs want to justify men abandoning their children. Can't relate. Can't relate. That's new to me. But sometimes women don't even have a choice. Do you know that in many states, when women file for state benefits like cash aid, the state requires them also to file a child support enforcement order because the state wants to recover the money from the father? Patriarchy.
So I want us to remember, I want to say this to Juicy and to T-Nor and to Cat Black, to Nappy Headed Jojoba, to Kidology, who was trying to be part of that circle but didn't end up being part of that circle. It might have worked out for you. To FD Signifier, to Consciously, to Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, to Ole, right? To Professor Odie, to all of to Andrewism, to Little Bill, all of you who are in quote unquote community with Miss Foster. Maybe some of you are not, and I lumped you in there. My apologies. Maybe there's other folks that Mr. Z isn't speaking about or thinking about right now. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And you are in that bubble, but Mr. Z didn't include you. My apologies. This is who is part of your community. Little troll ass, antagonistic, mean, rude, wannabe mean girl, jealous that she's not an upper middle class or rich white woman ass Kim Foster. Mr. Z has listened to Miss Foster a lot, unfortunately. A lot. For years. Actually, since for years. We'll just say that. For years. She rarely brings up her father. She always brings up her mother and her sister. And look at the one of the few times she brings up her father to remind you what girl dads say to their daughters. Men who aren't taking care of their children deserve to be shot. Okay, that's cool. Once again, how easy is it to turn Black women conservative? All you have to do is speak about the upward mobility of Black boys and Black men. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is speak of the upward mobility of Black boys and Black men, number one. Number two, if you listen close, what you hear is a woman who's in glee. She's elated. She's excited. Huh? She about to orgasm. She about to jizz her pants. Just the thought of mocking Black men and making fun of them and reminding them, see, the white man made you lay the F down. FD, I told you. The position y'all put Black men in is, oh, if you're not kissing Black women's ass, then you want to be a white patriarch. You doubted me. You pushed back. Here's Miss Foster saying it to you. It's either you want to be this toxic white patriarch that you'll never be. Okay, fine. Or you could come over here and get in line, as Tiffany Cross said, you can get in line with, behind Black women. You see how this is framed? Of course, the Black women aren't going to say you either get down on the white man's program or you get down on the Black women's program. And if you're trying to go over there with the white dudes, you're toxic. No, Black men can't forge their own way, make their own way. No. Huh? Black women aren't going to frame it that way. They're going to frame it, no, why won't you want to be in community with us so we can do our egalitarian thing? You know, the fake ass egalitarian thing where actually you provide and protect and shut up? And we'll call that egalitarian. We'll call you kissing Black women's ass egalitarian. We'll call this matriarchy gynocracy egalitarian. I told you that's what it was. That's why Mr. Z says, let them talk. Let them talk. Also, Miss Foster, it's not just men who enforce and reinforce patriarchy, it's also women. Huh? It's also women, ma'am. That's how we get quotes like this.
That if you are broke and I choose to deal with you, I will belittle you. It is what it is.
What do you think is informing her? Huh? What do you think is informing her? She's speaking about a man. She's not speaking about a woman. She's speaking about men. She's speaking about black men. She's saying is if her as a woman, if she chooses to deal with you and you earn less than her, she will belittle you because you as a man should be earning more than her. And according to her, about 50% more. No, ma'am. It's not just men who enforce and reinforce patriarchy. It's women. Women like you who want one foot in and one foot out. You think Mr. Z forgot about that time you were kind of lamenting before you ended up with your boyfriend? Or maybe while you were with him in the very beginning, but you didn't let anyone know? Huh? You think Mr. Z forgot that you were saying, I might have to end up with someone, I earned this much. She didn't say actually how much she made, but she gave you an idea. And I might have to end up with someone I earn more than. And you felt uncomfortable with the idea. Is it that the men are insecure, ma'am, or is it your own insecurity? Oh, huh? And y'all gives you a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. My apologies, y'all. Mr. Z is still here. I thought I had some material that I didn't have, so I'm trying to get that together for y'all. It's important that I play that. So that's why y'all heard me go radio silent. My apologies. We are working on it. We are working on it. I thought I had this, but apparently I did not do that. So I'm gonna leave y'all on hold with this music for a little bit, and we're gonna try to get that to y'all ASAP. So y'all give me a couple minutes, and we'll be back. We'll be back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. So it looks like we might be able to get this, and once we do, y'all will be tortured some more. Oh boy, Z, no, no, no. Yes, it is needed because we have to emphasize this. If the personal is political, then why in the Black community do we speak as if it's definitely struggle streaming? Shrell, it's definitely struggle streaming. Um, why do we speak as if what informs many Black women is a resentment at Black men? Miss Foster speaks about resentment, pretty much calls Black men losers. Um, and I want to be very clear. We talking around these things is it's so aggravating because we know what's informing her. We know what's informing her. And we got to keep on talking about the fact that this short, marginally attractive troll isn't annoyed that she wasn't the chosen chick in high school or right? It's not any of that. No, it's a glee. It's an excitement. It's a heh, right? And you could see it, you could smell it. And what I'm gonna play, there was no video for it, but the video that I did play, and I'm gonna play it again in a minute. Sorry, y'all, torture. You could see by the way she's moving, by the way she's speaking, she love it, huh? And she loved what she was telling Black men. See, some men gotta get that, lay the f down. Black men, right? She loved it, and we're supposed to speak as if we don't have a good understanding on why she loved saying that, right? We have to speak as if we don't know why. We don't have a good idea why. She gets to jab at us from her perch. Harvard educated. I said it. Let me continue to say it. All that education, all that quote unquote stick with to itness, huh? All of that discipline, all of the caring about marginalized people and oppressed people, huh? And the disenfranchised, all of that talk, all of the internet intersectionality talk, all of that goes out the window when we start speaking about black men in particular for black feminists like Miss Kim Nicole Foster. We're not calling her Bowser. We're calling her by her whole name, Miss Kimberly Nicole Foster. Women like her, Miss Foster, and women like her, all of the discipline, all of the care goes out the window because she wasn't chose. It doesn't matter if she's in a relationship right now. She wasn't chose. Y'all give Z a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm sorry, y'all. And we're back. Regular streams, y'all already know. Don't put it in the comments. Don't put it in the comments. Y'all already know. Okay. All right. And we're back. And we're back. Right. So, and y'all give Z a second. Did that? Okay. It does look like it worked. Okay. We're cooking with grease. Yeah. So I want to emphasize that what you have with Miss Foster is a person, and we know she's kind of on the spectrum, neurodivergent, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay, cool. And we're supposed to pretend like we don't get it. And that's the most enraging part. It's her jabbing at us, jabbing at black men, mocking black men, making fun of black men, all the exaggerated facial expressions, all the sneak dissing, all of that, right? Like about a very antagonistic feminism that hopes to, I'm just gonna say it now because she's eventually gonna say it with what I'm gonna play in a minute. But yeah, Miss Foster and other black women like her are afraid. They know the pendulum is swinging, and they're afraid in their minds that too much is going to be given to men. Too much is going to be sided on men. She pretty much says it. Essentially, let them get it out the mud. Now, did she use those words? No. But I'm going to play it for y'all. Y'all will hear it. Oh, boy. Huh? Oh, you better believe it. Huh? This is who she is. This is a little troll who's angry about her position to us as men, black men. Do we ever expect Miss Foster to admit that? Absolutely not. Miss Foster's always going to speak as if she's above it. She's always going to speak as if she doesn't care about our opinion because we're just little lowly loser hypersexual men or so, whatever she's gonna come up with. But appreciate that this is what informs her. You could tell with how she speaks. She's way too enthusiastic to jab, right? What's informing her is not a care of the black community, not a care of black men, not a care of black boys, not even to be favorite you, not even a care for black girls. Ooh, goddamn. It's sticking her thumb in the eye of black men. Huh? Oh man. Mr. Shook to you, did you really though? I ain't even gonna highlight it. I don't know if you troll it or not. Huh? So we're gonna play this again and we'll speak about it on the other side.
One of the craziest developments about the era that we're in is the proliferation of people, particularly men, who are both anti-patriarchy and anti-feminist. What do I mean by that? There's an idea that patriarchy just means men doing whatever they want. No.
First, who has the idea that patriarchy is men doing whatever they want? Who thinks that? What black man thinks patriarchy is doing whatever you want? All we speak about here in the black manosphere is obligation. That's the whole. What do you bring to the table? The men are not just saying, "Oh, we just here, my presence." That's not what the men are saying, Miss Foster. That's what the women are saying. When you so men think that they get to do whatever they want. Black men think they get to do whatever they want. I like this kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out that you're doing right here. Oh boy. So the idea that men think that patriarchy is you get to do whatever you want. When? Which men are these? Who are these men? Or are you just talking? Harvard educated, y'all, and she's well read. Let's be very clear. Miss Foster's not dumb. She's a little resentful troll, though. Huh? She's a little resentful troll. Uninformed? Not really. Dumb? Not really. Huh? Resentful troll? There you go. Mad about who didn't want her in high school? Mad about the fact that she had to go to prom with a white dude because the black jocks and the black nerds weren't checking? Yeah, I saw that clip that Themis still have on his channel. Yeah, I saw it. Huh? Ma'am, you're 36. Grow up. Your man should be proposing any day now. Grow up, Miss Foster. What does your Harvard degree actually mean if all you do with it is troll black men all day? You want to talk about loser? That's not loser behavior to you? You're 36, still mad about going to prom practically 20 years ago with the white guy who probably smashed. Oh, goddamn. Let me find out you lost your virginity to the white dude, Miss Foster. That's going to say a lot. Huh? Anyway, continuing.
One of the craziest developments about the era that we're in is the proliferation of people, particularly men, who are both anti-patriarchy and anti-feminist. What do I mean by that? There's an idea that patriarchy just means men doing whatever they want. No. Patriarchy is very heavily policed, but it's policed by men in order to keep the structural social order sound. Patriarchy is men acting in very narrowly prescribed way, and if you get out of line, who makes you get back in line? Other men. People say the black community is a matriarchy. No, you can't have a matriarchy within a patriarchy. Like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We're living in what Bell Hooks will call an imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, right?
Is that the case? Okay.
As a man, if you don't have house core job, don't look for a woman with house core job. And for the men that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three, and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard and you're a goddamn assistant. Know your place. Stop being contradicting. And bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
And the difference between what Miss Foster is saying and what Munchkin over here is saying is, oh, I forgot. Well, Miss Foster has a few $100,000 of Harvard degree behind what she's saying. So she's saying it with 3 and 4 and 5 syllable words and good articulation. That's the difference. That's the difference. In other words, there is no difference. Huh? FD. Foreign. Consciously. Lil Bill. Y'all just gonna keep on letting Kim Foster talk like this? Okay, fine. Y'all are men. You're not gonna say nothing. T Noir. Huh? Khadijah. Julesy. Y'all, Miss Foster just gonna, nobody gonna say nothing? You're just gonna keep on letting her talk like this, huh? This little antagonistic troll, classist, sexist troll, anti-black man like a mug, whoever, we've seen the brother before. Shout out to you for being in a relationship with this. I hope that marriage will go well. Well, y'all have the class position. You'll stay married. If she's talking like this and you still in a relationship with her, yeah, you'll eat it. Huh? You'll stay married to her. Oh my God. Huh? Have fun. Hopefully we don't see you in divorce court. Jesus. Whew. We're going to play one more again. I'm sorry to torture y'all. Here we go.
One of the craziest developments about the era that we're in is the proliferation of people, particularly men, who are both anti-patriarchy and anti-feminist. What do I mean by that? There's an idea that patriarchy just means men doing whatever they want. No. Patriarchy is very heavily policed, but it's policed by men in order to keep the structural social order sound. Patriarchy is men acting in very narrowly prescribed way, and if you get out of line, who makes you get back in line? Other men. People say the black community is a matriarchy. No, you can't have a matriarchy within a patriarchy. Like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We're living in what Bell Hooks will call an imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, right? That's in every structure, in every institution. It's in our socialization, okay? What can happen is the men of a community lose the desire or the capacity to police each other effectively, and the prescribed patriarchal social order crumbles, deteriorates significantly. And then after an extended period of those men not having the capacity or desire to police each other, then they say, well, actually freedom is we just do whatever we want, and it's the women's fault. What's so crazy is the anti-patriarchy, anti-feminists, we men just want to do whatever they want men, are actually adopting feminist talking points. And I don't know if they know it, or I don't know if they care. But what the feminists have always said is, in patriarchy, male privilege comes with male obligation and male subjugation. You can't get male privilege without male duty, male responsibility, because you have to uphold the social order. And you're going to be forced to uphold the social order via what? Subjugation. So that means within any patriarchy, there are going to be some men who are going to have to lay the fuck down. And in this one, it's black men. So now
Oh, she loved it. You know she loved every millisecond, nanosecond of saying that. In every patriarchy, some men are going to have to lay the F down. And this one is black men. FD. I'm just saying, where's FD signifier? Huh? Where's consciously? Where are y'all? You know how many women we have in the black community running around like Miss Foster, and then you wonder why your sons can't read? Huh? You wonder why your sons can't read. You wonder why your sons are not attending college. You think we want to be sitting in class next to Miss Foster? Worse yet, you think we want Miss Foster as a professor? Huh? The clip, I think I have it somewhere, with a prosecutor, black female prosecutor, is going in on the white male judge because she feels like the white male judge is being too lenient to the young black man. Huh? Y'all don't get it? Foreign, you don't get it? Ole, you don't get Ole, you are an attorney. You don't get it? Huh? So everybody's just gonna let Miss Foster keep on talking like this, and other women like her who get to hide behind their degree and black men's quote unquote misogyny and misbehavior, and they're so colorist and sexist and featurist and texturist. So she just gets to be a little antagonistic troll, a little aggressive antagonistic troll, spreading her filth everywhere, right? Okay, yeah, that's it. Hey, dear black women, I hope y'all get real comfortable eating vagina, bro. I hope y'all get real comfortable. Y'all not gonna say nothing or do nothing with the Miss Fosters of the world. I hope y'all get real comfortable being in the pass around for your non-black male coworkers, because they're not gonna marry you, huh? I hope y'all get real comfortable with that rose toy and your quote unquote girl strips. Invest in your friendships and your platonic, non-romantic relationships. Yeah, y'all going to. Yep, y'all actually will, huh? Miss Foster are people like Miss Foster are black men's teachers, professors, their bosses, HR managers, etc., etc. This attitude right here, huh? Woo! In every patriarchy, there's some men that's gonna have to lay the F down. You see the look on her face. She loved it. She loved saying it. She loved saying it. Let's be very clear. It's not man not, woman not. It's not simply that, foreign. It's not simply that. When you look at the Miss Fosters, they're saying, if I don't get to be a white woman, we won't let you be a man. Not a white man. Let's be very clear. If I don't get to be a upper middle class or rich white woman, you don't get to be a man. So you better come over here and lick my ass. That's what she's saying, foreign. That's what other women, black women like her, are saying. How blatant do she gotta be? The Miss Fosters of the world said, you can't be a man over there, so you better come back over here in the gynocracy and bow down. Y'all like waiting for them to say the exact words Mr. Z is saying. And a couple of them will, like Munchkin that I played earlier. But most won't, especially not the Miss Fosters. For the most part, this is about as close as they get. The Tiffany Cross. Black men, why won't you get in line with, behind is what she meant. Get in line with black women. No. First of all, if we were getting in line with, we wouldn't, you don't get in line with someone. You're either behind or in front of them. The line is one person at a time, isn't it? Ooh, goddamn. Y'all saw how in glee she was to say that? Miss Foster loved every minute of that. Every single minute. Huh? And let me read a couple of you super chats before I start playing this. And Chef Butter Biscuit says, Z, your thoughts on Chelsea Lane, the Jamaican sister that's conservative but also pro reparations. From what I've seen of her, she looks legit. I have to look into that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I have to look into her. Well, that's funny. No, I'll look her up and see what that's about. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, I guess in that respect, she's similar to Z, not ADOS, but also wants ADOS folks to get reparations and advocates for it. So that's a good look, right? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I'll look her up and I'll get back to you on that. We'll see. I might we might do a stream. That's an idea. Doing a stream for those of us non ADOS black folks who are pro reparations. That's something to think about, right? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And KMS says, OMG, Diglett, we get it. You're mad that the men of your station would rather check for the coat check girl than you. Enjoy your high class couch surfer black boyfriend. You pay for in network opportunities. you're paying for in networking opportunities. Better yet, yeah. And I never thought about that until you said it, KMS. Because from my understanding, he's doing okay-ish financially, and actually he's doing better than okay. But you know, the way she was speaking, he's not doing as well as her financially, right? So it wasn't until you said it that I thought to myself that and her that might be a quote unquote downgrade. Not only that, she shared a picture of her and him once, a couple of times, and like, man, we all been around black women, bro, and we all know when they're like, "Oh, that's cute," but when they really are saying like, "That's nice for you," right? And they're not necessarily sneak dissing, but they kind of are. Like it's coming from like a legitimate like place. Like, okay, that's nice for you because that's the best you can do. She shared a picture of her and him, and like in the comments with those type of comments from the ladies, right? Like that's cute. Oh, I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you had fun, and that. And you like you could smell it. You could smell the yeah, girl, that's your station right there. That's about as good. So like that's why like I snickered to myself when she once called herself shallow, and I was like, Miss Foster, Miss, look, man, I'm a black man born and raised in America. Y'all gotta. I know y'all ladies. I know you can't help it, dear black women. I know you can't help but insult black men and insult black men's intelligence and manhood because black men are not white men and black men can't make you upper middle class and above white women. I know. I get it. You can't help yourself but insult black men and black men's intelligence. I know, and black men's manhood because what manhood? They're not white men. I get it. I get it. With that, could you stop insulting black men's intelligence? Oh God, right? She said she was shallow. I'm like, yitch where? Mr. Z ain't no looker. Mr. Z got this gun on him now. With that, your girl is shallow. Look, stop. Look. With that, what makes this just absolutely hysterical is she said that, right? She said that, and there's okay. We gonna leave that alone. We gonna leave that because look, we gonna leave, right? But as KMS is saying, what's maddening is that we have to speak as if we don't know that. So it's exactly what you're saying, KMS, but everything about the conversation between black men and black women in America is black women can insinuate that the reason why you speak the way you do is because you're not good looking, it's because you're not highly educated, it's because you're a loser in life, you didn't get the women you wanted, you're resentful about your station in life. Right? But they're allowed to speak that way, and no one will check them and be like, "Hey, you hit under the belt," or "How do you know that?" or "What are you implying?" Black women get to speak like that about black men, but we, as black men, can't then turn around and say, "I know you ain't chosen. That's why you speaking the way you are. I don't care if you have a boyfriend or not. That ain't the dude you really find attractive like that." I know when you catching that orgasm, you're thinking about somebody else. We can't say that. As men, you can't say, ma'am, I know why you threw that little fit when Brittany Renner was speaking about women going to the gym, because you know ain't nothing gonna make you her in the eyes of men. I know why y'all talking about decenter men. I know why y'all speak about the male gaze, because you ain't the object of desire for most men. You got to get it a different way, right? What's maddening about being a black man is you have to pretend like you don't know why they sound the way they do. Huh? It's maddening. They get to sneak this insult, belittle, hide behind their degrees, hide behind their supposed accomplishments, hide behind caring for other black women. They don't care for other black women. They get to engage in that, and you, on the other hand, have to pretend like they're saying what they're saying in good faith. Huh? So continuing, let's play this real quick before Mr. Z go on another rant, and here we go.
Hey y'all, how are you doing? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim, and I'm back for another podcast. This is going to be basically like a mailbag episode, because there's so many DMs to go through, emails to go through. Y'all have asked questions, and I have thoughts. The first question I'm going to tackle is, Kim, don't you think it's funny that the group most likely to vote for Donald Trump are men without college degrees, and Trump made sure all of his children got college degrees? Okay, I laughed, but I'm just laughing because y'all are so aggressive. Do I think it's funny, like weird or wild? No, because we already have talked about this. There's degree polarization in our society. The Democratic Party has become the party of the people who have at least an undergraduate degree, and the disaffected men in particular have gone on over to the Republican Party and to Donald Trump, because he can tap into a kind of cultural posturing that they like, a bloviation, a positioning, a misogyny that they like. They like the idea of
a misogyny that they like. What do you think you're engaging in but misandry, ma'am? What do you think you're engaging in? A misogyny that they like from Trump? As a response to what? You think the men just woke up one day and said, yeah, I'll take another scoop of that? Black men, the black men that did vote for Trump, I'll take another scoop of that misogyny. Let me get some of that misogynorism right there. Let me get another scoop of that. Miss Foster, let's entertain it. Much of maybe why men voted the way they did for Trump is because of women like you. That we were sold a bill of goods that, A, the women just want equality. Relax. They just want equality. They just want a fair shot. They just don't want y'all to see them as some type of object of sexual desire. They just want a fair shot, and they want meritocracy, and they want to be able to rise if they're doing well, and they want to be able to climb up the corporate ladder or get into academia. The women just want a fair shot. That's what we were told. That's what we were sold. And then we ran into women like you. So about the misogyny, no, we ran into women like you. We realized that the whole system was lying to us. That the elite white men were using women like you as a buffer, as a tool of empire, as a colonizing agent. And don't worry, by the end of this, you'll prove it. You'll prove it. Miss Foster, we ran into women like you. We ran into girls like you in high school. We ran into women like you in college as fellow students and professors. We ran into women like you in the workplace. We ran into women like you. So if I grant you the misogyny and I don't, it's a response to being lied to and then running into women like you who once again still want patriarchy, but you want it by feminist specifications. We ran into women like you, ma'am. Continuing.
that they like the idea of punishing the feminists, punishing the women, punishing the blacks, punishing the immigrants so that they can live better lives. So I am not surprised by that. What I do think is
punishing. So many of these young men want to get a passport and get the hell up out of here. How's that punishing? The men with money, the men that are doing okay-ish, if they're not pulling here, they're leaving. They're passport bros, man. They're getting the hell up out of here, punishing. Huh? They're making themselves scarce. How they're punishing you? I guess that is punishing you if the men aren't there to kiss your ass. Huh? Punishing by getting the hell away from you, by getting a passport and getting the hell away from you. And for the black men, by marrying out, by dating out, that's punishment. I can get it. I get it. I understand. Huh? But if other women are okay with allowing for you to speak, ma'am, and actually encourage women like you to be antagonistic little trolls, little assholes, then yeah, I guess it would be seen as punishing that they let women like you speak, they encourage women like you to speak, and then you speak, and then black men are like, check please, let me get Marisol's number and Becky's number, let me get Mei Ling's number. I guess that would be seen as punishing. But you speaking isn't seen as torture. Talk about torture, continuing.
Who are Trump supporters, who are so adamant on this degrees don't matter train. I find that to be so weird because the logical sex needs to get logical. You know?
Yeah, she's making fun. The logical sex needs to get logical. Yeah, she's making fun, number one. Who says degrees don't matter? Like, we know, we've heard a few people say that. Let's be very clear, ma'am. You don't get to hide character flaw behind degrees, not an intimate relationship anyway. Huh? That's why so many black women in particular find it difficult to meet a spouse. Yeah, you have a degree and he doesn't, but he still seems to not really care. Yeah, because you're an asshole or you're overweight or you're an overweight asshole, talking about digging yourself into a hole. Or you're a little highly educated troll who mocks men and encourages your boyfriend or guy you're seeing or guy that's pogo sticking up and down your esophagus to also troll men. He shows that he's a real man by insulting other men. Ooh, goddamn. And you know women love that. Oh, women love that. Oh, women love to see another man insult another man as a way of showing his manhood. Question a man's manhood as a way of showing his manhood. Especially if that man doesn't have his tongue surgically attached to white asshole or black asshole, female asshole, that is. In other words, if you're not kissing women's ass, are you a real man? Continuing.
The logical sex needs to get logical. There's no reason to be against people graduating from college. This is one of those emotional arguments that they love to talk about.
Yeah, she's still mocking. Yeah, she's saying no. It's really the men, excuse me, that are being emotional here, right? So yeah, she's mocking and she's making fun. Yeah, she's jabbing. Continuing.
It's too many feminists. They're making me take humanities classes. Concerns about the very real cost of college, completely legitimate. Concerns about lack of preparation in K through 12 that make making it through college a lot more difficult. Also legitimate, but attempting to minimize the necessity or usefulness of a degree because you don't have one, or you think the university is a feminized institution
It is a feminized institution. Women are saying it and men are saying it that are in the feminized institution. Do I need to go find the videos and play? You know what? We might do a part 2 to this where I just hammer her with these, with the videos and the lectures where women and men are saying it. Now, are they going to do anything about it? That's a whole different conversation. And it's not just conservative women saying it either, by the way. Huh? Continuing.
Or you think the university is a feminized institution is absurd. It is so ridiculous. It is an anti-progress argument. I want to be clear and say that I think everybody, whether or not you attended college, should be able to earn a living wage.
The anti-progress argument. She's already kind of leaning into what she's saying here. She's going to say it way more succinctly and clearly towards the end. But Ms. Foster is frightened that the quote-unquote progress, it's not progress, the progress that women have made over the past four-ish, five-ish decades is going to get rolled back for the advancement of boys and men. She kind of gave you an idea of that right there. Oh boy. So what are the boys and men supposed to do? This is why Mr. Z titles matters. This is why the title matters. How to turn black women conservative. No, black women and women in general get thumb on the scale for them. Men, black men specifically, get it out the mud. Now, Miss Foster has a man. What are the other women? Okay, fine. Your sistren who are pretty much just like you, Miss Foster. They went to Ivy League, they graduated, and ain't no man checking. The white men ain't checking. The black men are laughing in their face. Latino men, not interested. What are they supposed to do? Because once again, the men are supposed to get out the mud. And if the men don't, if the men say, yeah, I got better things to do, then what? Now what? Huh? Continuing.
It's the baseline for me. But we know that increasingly the well-paid, stable jobs are crowded around the top, and they're crowded around fields that require degrees. They're crowded around professions where people check to see if you walk across that stage. But to get back to the Trump point, the humor, I guess, the potential source of humor is Donald Trump made sure all of his kids went to college, even Barron. And we never see Barron. He's somewhere, I guess, at NYU. Even the kids he never saw, he made sure Tiffany Trump went to college. And it's interesting to me that the three kids with Ivana Trump, Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka, they went to college and all majored in economics. I bet that Trump said, y'all are going to major in economics. Like, that's how into it he was. Because y'all know damn well Donald Trump didn't want his kid to be an electrician or a plumber. Like, this is my thing, right? Like, there is, or should be, dignity in all work and all manner.
Ma'am, Miss Foster, tell elite black women to go get it from the white man then. If you're college educated and you're doing so well and you can't imagine yourself with a blue collar man and why y'all poo-pooing on education? Who, first of all, who's poo-pooing on education? I know it happens, but who are they? Number one. Number two, tell those women to go get it from the rich white elite man, and if he's not interested, then so be it. Stay single then. Play with yourself with the Rose toys. Huh? Be the pass around for some young dudes at your job. And Donald Trump made sure that all his kids went to college. Of course he did. What, you thought you ate with that? What argument are you making here? We tell y'all that college doesn't really matter, but look, the elites send their kids to college. When did the elites not send their kids to college? College school scandal? Buying your way in like Jared Kushner? Or his father, better yet? Probably Trump too. When did they not? What's the argument here? If y'all feel like y'all are stuck in a community with loser men, then go end up with the non-loser white men then. Ooh, goddamn, they're not checking. Ooh. And you don't want to do anything for the upliftment of the boys and men either. Ah, damn, black women, you see the pincer move the women like Miss Foster put you in? We're not going to do for boys and men, black boys and men. But at the same time, the white guys and the non-black guys aren't checking for us when we're adults and it's time to get married and have children and nuclear family. So I guess more and more of you who can afford it, that is, and who aren't old enough, who didn't age out and who can afford it, I guess I'll be freezing y'all eggs. Good luck with that. Huh? Good luck with that. Continuing.
For yourself or providing for your family. However, if we're talking about society, if we're talking about class, race, status, I have always reacted negatively to the idea that when we have black men in particular, or men of color generally, some of whom actually did go to college, but many of whom didn't, saying, oh no, like black men don't need to go to college. You're saying that you are okay with the thinkers, the lawmakers, the deciders, the researchers, the technologists, the doctors not being black. We know that there's...
Ma'am, when black women attend college and university, are those the majors that they're majoring in? God damn. So you see how easy that was, ma'am? You're supposed to be the smart one. Remember. When black women, ma'am, what did you major in? Ooh, goddamn. What, you're supposed to be a thinker now? Ooh, goddamn, Z. Because you're not a technologist, are you? Huh? You're. And we're back. No, 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 the earpiece ain't fall out. Y'all already know. Reckless streams. Okay, we might have to make this a little bit quicker than usual. Oh man. Okay, yeah, y'all already know. So let me read these now. And Barry Little says, "Who needs Megan Kelly when you have Kimberly Foster?" Say that. But look, man, when it comes to black boys and black men, they get real conservative real fast. The supposed liberals. We're not speaking about the Candace Owens or the Kim Klasiks or any of that, the Mia Loves or any of that. We're not speaking about those folks. We're not speaking about the black women walking around here with Confederate flag shirts and whatnot. Nope, 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 nope. Right? We're speaking about the supposed leftists, the supposed liberals, the supposed progressives, huh? And it's interesting listening to Miss Foster speak about how black men are essentially ceding ground. Yeah, because we don't want to be in class with women like you, and we definitely don't want women like you as our professors. Little antagonistic trolls. You imagine having a Miss Foster as your professor, and you could smell the misandry on her? Oh, absolutely not. Especially the anti-black male misandry, whether she has a black husband, boyfriend, or not. Besides the point. Oh, the horror. Huh? Continuing.
That there's class hierarchy baked into everything right now, that the socioeconomic strata are becoming hardened, and you don't want black men to do the thing that is responsible for so much of the socioeconomic climbing over the past half century? That's some weird shit. It's some weird.
Ma'am, I do want to see black men doing well. I want to see black men doing well by their definition of doing well. My goal, unlike your goal, isn't to make black men pseudo white men, unlike what you're trying to do with black women. Mr. Z is not jealous of white men. Oh, goddamn. Mr. Z does not necessarily care to exactly have a facsimile of what the white men have in their life. Takes a whole lot to maintain that white supremacy, man. Takes a whole lot. Gotta lose your soul on that one. Huh? Well, damn. We want to see black men doing well. But in the meantime, while you're in a relationship with a black man, tell your sister to get it from the white men then. And if they can't, the elite white men aren't checking for them, then stay single and go munch on each other. Or get comfortable with your rose toy. Z, how often you gonna say that? Yes. Huh? Continuing.
It's some weird bitter shit, honestly. And you know how I feel. I think that comes from a place of deep jealousy, resentment.
I love that she said it's some weird bitter-ish, and it comes from a deep place of resentment and jealousy. Ooh, I love it. Jealous of what, ma'am? Jealous of black women with 40 and 50 and $60,000 of student loan debt that black men still earn more than? Okay, yeah, that's it. Continuing.
Of black women. Everybody deserves to be.
So she said it. She said it. There you go. Bitter, jealous, and resentful of black women. Let me get this right. Black men aren't attending college because we're bitter, resentful of black women, right? And jealous of black women. Wouldn't that mean that we would try to outcompete black women in college and university? If black men have decided to cede that ground, we're not even talking to each other. I want to be very clear. Black men aren't, hey, you going to college? Ew. Why would you do that? That's not the dominant conversation here. So black individual young men are deciding not to go to college, and that's a sign that they're bitter, jealous, envious, and whatever else you said of black women, or they're deciding not to be in the same spaces as women like you. Once again, as professors and as fellow students. Ms. Foster, if you are what's at the end of the rainbow, if you are who's standing at the finish line for these men's success, if it's women like you, I think they would rather not do the race at all. I would argue the masses of young men in general, black men specifically, if a woman like you is at the finish line for them as the trophy, oh my God. What was the point in doing the race if at the finish line is a Miss Foster with her attitude and demeanor and looks, her attitude and demeanor? Huh? Continuing.
Treated with dignity. Everybody deserves to be treated well, no matter what your profession. But I find it odd that people, some of whom say they care about black people, would want to almost exclusively endorse the kinds of work that breaks down people's bodies. The allostatic load that you accumulate from having to do manual labor for 20, 30, 40 years, because people don't have pensions. It's just a weird thing to me. It's just opposition to it just to be opposed to it. Or really, I think it's an opposition to it just because they don't really want to contend with the vulnerability of school being hard, school being a very difficult space to navigate. And I do want to underscore, because somebody pulled my coattails on me, I had to say, oh, my bad, you're right. The idea that school is a piece of cake for most black women to navigate is just not true. It's just false. The idea that the gaps that we see between degree attainment in black women and
once again, a woman that refuses to grapple with social dominance order. You understand classism, ma'am. You understand racism, not really. And yet you can't grapple with elite rich white men using women like you as the buffer? Huh? That the environment space, including to I'm watching black female educators speak about how the education space is more difficult for the men, for black boys. And how we teach and how that's a hindrance and a problem, and how people see black boys, how other educators see black boys, including black female educators. And then you listen to Miss Foster say, no, the real issue is that you have a problem because it's going to be hard to learn, and it's not easier for us as girls, even though the educators, the female educators on top of that, are saying it's easier for the girls. Well, damn. Yeah. Huh? Once again, what Barry Little says, and thank you for the super chat again, Mr. Barry Little, who needs Megyn Kelly when you have Kimberly Foster? And to the title of this video, how to turn black women conservative. And there you go. Continuing.
It's a function of black women and black girls having it so easy in K through 12. Like, it's just not true. They've just created systems of support, ways to circumvent all of the obstacles erected. And
we're about to see how strong black girl magic is. We're about to see if black women really created systems to circumvent the oppression. We're about to see with the shredding of affirmative action, with the Ed Blums of the world, right? with an extremely conservative Supreme Court. We're about to see how real what you're saying is, ma'am. That's not something Mr. Z takes in glee. That's not something to make fun of. Does Mr. Z appreciate where that leads? Do you? Let's see what Black Girl Magic was really built off of. As white men put a foot up white women's rear end, let's see how far black women go. As white men choke white women out politically, let's see how far black female magic, black girl magic goes. Let's see. Huh? We'll see. Continuing.
Now, I know you know better. I do. I did read Push Out by Monique Morris, released in 2018. And our default framing of the issues that Black children face in school, really it's K through 12, is what Monique Morris is talking about. We default to the school to prison pipeline. We're like, oh, the boys are getting caught up in the school to prison pipeline. And Monique's important intervention was, okay, well, girls are not being sent to prison because just women and girls just generally go to prison a lot less, but they experience other things that push them out of school, that deter them from completing education. And she calls it the school to confinement pipeline, where it's adultification via you have to take care of younger siblings, or you're getting sexually abused, you're getting sex trafficked, you're also being hyper-policed in school, your behavior is also seen as loud and aggressive. Y'all, we have seen this. I am sure if you are under the sound of my voice,
My apologies. I kept myself muted. My apologies, everyone. This is Oppression Olympics, everyone. This is Oppression Olympics. What Miss Foster is saying is that we will not acknowledge anything that ails black men, specifically. We will not acknowledge anything that ails black boys, specifically, excuse me. We won't. So where the school to prison pipeline has been documented, we see how it affects the black community, we see how it affects black men. She said, well, the school to confinement pipeline, we're made to clean the house. And huh? This is if you want to know how women weaponize intersectionality, voila. If you want to know how women weaponize intersectionality against men, if you want to know how black women weaponize intersectionality against black men, voila. Huh? No, I'm more marginalized. Me. So you better keep on putting the thumb on the scales for me. I'm the one more affected. It's me. It's about me. It's me and other black women. It's us. It's me. It's me. Now you fast forward to when these women are in their mid-20s on up, and the thumb was put on the scales for them as they advocated for, or better yet, put on the scale. The thumb was put on the scales for their daughters as they wanted. And now those women are 28 and 30 and 32, and they want to settle down and have children. And oh boy, well, you look at that. Huh? And KMS says, these black women will eventually tell the truth. After every lie is exhausted, the truth, I'd rather all of us perish than me live as a black woman. Hey. Keep listening, KMS. Keep listening. You'll see how close you get to not saying that, but getting real close to saying something kind of something along the lines of leave those men to their devices and just let them get out the mud. And we're slow creeping to what you're saying, right? We're slow creeping to what you're saying. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right? So let's continue this, and y'all give me a second.
or under the sound of my voice, that you have experienced or heard a story of Black girls being super policed for behavior, for quote unquote disobedience, for dress code, or having so many responsibilities in their home. And of course, I have to talk about the predatory relationships between young girls and adult men. That
Miss Foster, for your own good, I suggest you don't go down that road. Miss Foster, for your own, if you want to start speaking about the predatory nature of older black folks on younger black folks, you don't want to go down that road. Y'all gonna open that can and let Mr. Z say it. I'ma love to watch y'all open that can. Black women smelling they fart so much they forget how many aunties are walking around here getting piped down, huh? By 20-something-year-olds. And if you really want to say it, how many 23-year-old black women are getting piped down by a 17-year-old, 16-year-old? Y'all better be careful where y'all go with that. See, you think you're saying something. You know what? As a matter of fact, don't listen to Mr. Z. Actually, open that can of worms. Actually, open that can. I'ma love to see it. Because I promise you, if y'all open that can, Mr. Z gonna open it all the way. Huh? And the difference, what's the difference, Z? The difference is we have the language for adult men and minor women. We have the language. Everybody already know, oh, look, he's a creeper. He's looking at the 16-year-old. But we still, as a society, don't really know what to do with the 24 and 25 and 30-year-olds. Huh? Including educators creeping with their 16 and 15 and 17-year-old students. We're talking about the women here, creeping with their 16-year-old male students. Huh? We don't have the language for your auntie's friend who's 36 getting smashed out by the 16-year-old. Huh? Open that box if you want to, Miss Foster. I'ma love it. Continuing.
context, gay men, gay boys, graduate at much higher rates than straight men and straight boys. But gay girls and gay women don't. This inclination to force everything to be reduced to biology is just, I'm sorry, but that's not what the data is showing. That's
like you said it and ma'am, you're supposed to be Harvard educated. Your resentment at black men for not being chose can't be that great. Yes, it is. You're right. Ma'am, it can't be that great. You said it. You walked in the room and said, no, I'm gonna walk out. I'm not even going to acknowledge what I just said. Ma'am, it's about masculinity. It's about masculinity. I promise you that if you look at what LGBTQ women are having a difficult time in school, it's the more butch ones. I promise you. Look it up. It's not the femme ones. It's the more masculine presenting ones. It's about manhood and masculinity, ma'am. You listen to her say that, and she's... You're supposed to be the Harvard-educated one. Oh, my God. Once again, let Mr. Z remind y'all. All of that education go out the window when it comes time to mock and make fun of black men, when it comes time to stick your finger in the eye of black men because you were in chose as a minor, because you were in chose in high school or probably college, because them brothers at Harvard weren't checking for you. Huh? You get to hide your resentment at black men behind what critique of black men, telling what other black men not to go to college, not to go to university, not to aspire for something greater, not to be academically inclined. This little troll right here. Huh? Continuing.
That's not it. And if we're going back to push out, another thing that she shows is while we're having so many conversations about the disciplinary gap between white boys and black boys, the disciplinary gap between white girls and black girls is actually larger. Black people face hurdles within these institutions. And so,
once again, as I said before, it's more talk It's more of this intersectionality talk. We won't let you have an inch, black men. You're losers because you're not trying beginning end. This is why Mr. Z's title is what it is. People like this could speak about systemic oppression. They could speak about hierarchies. They could speak about all of that. But when it comes time to acknowledge how these things affect black men and boys, absolutely not. She can't do it. Her resentment at you is too great. She can't do it. Do you know how many black women we have in the black community that are like this? And y'all gives you a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. God damn, I'm gonna have to start all of that. Y'all gives you a second though. And we're back. And we're back. I'm sorry, y'all. We're gonna have to play that whole beginning again. Goddamn GY. Okay, so I forgot that when you switch whatever you're playing in the background, the sound, that whatever you were playing before the fact resets. So once I clicked the music, I clicked off of it, but it was already too late. It was already too late. So we'll listen to that. I'm not going to give too much commentary on the beginning part. We'll start off once again giving our commentary on where we left off. So we'll play this, y'all. Prepare for the torture. My apologies. As a matter of fact, before we do that, let's read J-Lock's comment first. And J-Lock says, Mr. Z, I gotta send you this video of this black woman complaining that black men, not protecting black women. I saw it. When it was a Hispanic man saying racial slur at her and black men do nothing, and women in the comments was angry. Yeah. I saw it. If I'm not mistaken, and no offense to those men, if I'm not mistaken, because I think she alluded to those men maybe being LGBTQ, and that brings up a whole different conversation of protection and who and why, and sexuality in that respect. But so once again, I'm not trying to insult those brothers. I'm saying the way she was speaking, those brothers could have been LGBTQ. Yeah. So and that's number one. Number two, to black women, look, man, y'all insulting, belittling, being sexist, being mean, just being insufferable, just people no one wants to be around, like no one wants to be around, and then demanding that black men protect you. And what would protection have looked like in that space? A dude stand up and be like, hey man, which okay, fine. But y'all don't get to be the type of people that no one wants to be around, and then black men aren't around, particularly straight black men. Jesus Christ. It's like, wait a minute. So you think you're just gonna be insufferable and be a person like no black man wants to be around, and then the one time something happens to you and black men are around, it's LGBTQ black men, right? Like, how is the question I always ask, and I've been asking for years, is how's this supposed to work for black women? How is this y'all antagonist a-holes, and yet this is supposed to work for you? No. Huh? And once again, thank you for the super chat, J-Lock. Thank you for the super chat. Insufferable, but didn't want protection. Bro, what? Right? And continuing. So we're going to start this over. I'll give my commentary. And it's actually a good thing. Y'all get to hear this kind of uninterrupted. Just for any woman who y'all have in your life, who you care about, and they don't understand why black men are moving the way they are, just remind them that there's Kim Fosters out there in the world. Just remind them there's Kim Fosters out there in the world. Right? Because we know black women like to pretend like the Kim Fosters don't exist, or they're not that many of them. And well, there's Kim Fosters out there in the world, and there's plenty. Maybe not as articulate, maybe didn't attend Harvard or an Ivy League, but there's plenty of black women who are Kim Fosters. And that's why your son just popped up to the family reunion with a Latina. Just saying. Continuing.
Hey, y'all, how are you doing? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim, and I'm back for another podcast. This is going to be basically like a mailbag episode because there's so many DMs to go through, emails to go through. Y'all have asked questions, and I have thoughts. The first question I'm going to tackle is, Kim, don't you think it's funny that the group most likely to vote for Donald Trump are men without college degrees, and Trump made sure all of his children got college degrees? Okay, I laughed, but I'm just laughing because y'all are so aggressive. Do I think it's funny, like weird or wild? No, because we already have talked about this. There's degree polarization in our society. The Democratic Party has become the party of the people who have at least an undergraduate degree, and the disaffected men in particular have gone on over to the Republican Party and to Donald Trump because he can tap into a kind of cultural posturing that they like, a bloviation, a positioning, a misogyny that they like. They like the idea of punishing the feminists, punishing the women, punishing the blacks, punishing the immigrants so that they can live better lives. So I am not surprised by that. What I do think is funny are the people who are Trump supporters who are so adamant on this degrees don't matter train. I find that to be so weird because the logical sex needs to get logical. You know, I say that tongue in cheek. The logical sex needs to get logical. There's no reason to be against people graduating from college. This is one of those emotional arguments that they love to talk about. It's the idea that, oh, it's too many girls there. It's too many feminists. They're making me take humanities classes. Concerns about the very real cost of college, completely legitimate. Concerns about lack of preparation in K through 12 that make making it through college a lot more difficult, also legitimate. But attempting to minimize the necessity or usefulness of a degree because you don't have one, or you think the university is a feminized institution, is absurd. It is so ridiculous. It is an anti-progress argument.
It is a feminist institution.
I think everybody, whether or not you attended college, should be able to earn a living wage. That's the baseline for me. But we know that increasingly the well-paid, stable jobs are crowded around the top, and they're crowded around fields that require degrees. They're crowded around professions where people check to see if you walk across that stage. But to get back to the Trump point, the humor, I guess, the potential source of humor is Donald Trump made sure all of his kids went to college, even Barron. And we never see Barron. He's somewhere, I guess, at NYU. Even the kids he never saw, he made sure Tiffany Trump went to college. And it's interesting to me that the 3 kids with Ivana Trump, Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka, they went to college and all majored in economics. I bet that Trump said, y'all are going to major in economics. Like, that's how into it he was. Because y'all know damn well Donald Trump didn't want his kid to be an electrician or a plumber. Like, this is my thing, right? Like, there is or should be dignity in all work and all manner of making a life for yourself or providing for your family. However, if we're talking about society, if we're talking about class, race, status, I have always reacted negatively to the idea that when we have Black men in particular, or men of color generally, some of whom actually did go to college, but many of whom didn't, saying, oh no, like Black men don't need to go to college, you're saying that you are okay with the thinkers, the lawmakers, the deciders, the researchers, the technologists, the doctors not being Black. We know that there's class hierarchy baked into everything right now, that the socioeconomic strata are becoming hardened, and you don't want Black men to do the thing that is responsible for so much of the socioeconomic climbing over the past half century. That's some weird shit. It's some weird, bitter shit, honestly. And you know how I feel. I think that comes from a place of deep jealousy, resentment of Black women. Everybody deserves to be treated with dignity.
Notice that she checked herself after she said that's some bitter-ish. I think that's come from a deep resentment and whatever she said of Black women. And then she said everybody needs to be treated with dignity. That's not for us. That's for FD Signifier and them. That's for Juicy, who might be looking at her sideways. Maybe even for T Noir, who might be looking at her sideways. That was not for us, by the way. By the way, that was not for us. Dear Black men, Black minister, that was not for us. Right? So I just want to emphasize that. But she got it. That's a bitter issue. She started getting into her bag right there. She started rolling. She was like, whoa. We might be doing too much on that one. We might be doing this. Let's reel it back just a little bit, just a smidge. We can't let everyone know how resentful we are at Black men because when they were Black boys, they didn't choose us in high school. We can't let everybody know that what animates me and fuel me is a resentment from 20 years ago. Huh? Oh boy. Continuing.
Everybody deserves to be treated with dignity. Everybody deserves to be treated well, no matter what your profession. But I find it odd that people, some of whom say they care about Black people, would want to almost exclusively endorse the kinds of work that breaks down people's bodies. The allostatic load that you accumulate from having to do manual labor for 20, 30, 40 years, because people don't have pensions, it's just a weird thing to me. It's just opposition to it just to be opposed to it. Or really, I think it's an opposition to it just because they don't really want to contend with the vulnerability of school being hard, school being a very difficult space to navigate. And I do want to underscore, because somebody pulled my coattails on this, and I had to say, oh, my bad, you're right. The idea that school is a piece of cake for most Black women to navigate is just not true. It's just false. The idea that the gaps that we see between degree attainment in Black women and Black men it's a function of Black women and Black girls having it so easy in K through 12. Like, it's just not true. They've just created systems of support, ways to circumvent all of the obstacles erected. And the person who pulled my coattails was like, Kim, now I know you know better. I do. I did read Push Out by Monique Morris, released in 2018. And our default framing of the issues that Black children face in school, really it's K through 12, is what Monique Morris is talking about. We default to the school to prison pipeline. We're like, oh, the boys are getting caught up in the school to prison pipeline. And Monique's important intervention was, okay, well, girls are not being sent to prison because just women and girls just generally go to prison a lot less, but they experience other things that push them out of school, that deter them from completing education. And
Here's her weaponizing intersectionality
pipeline, where it's adultification via you have to take care of younger siblings, or you're getting sexually abused, you're getting sex trafficked, you're also being hyper-policed in school, your behavior is also seen as loud and aggressive. Y'all, we have seen this. I am sure if you are under the sound of my voice that you have experienced or heard a story of Black girls being super policed for behavior, for quote-unquote disobedience, for dress code, or having so many responsibilities in their home. And of course, I have to talk about the predatory relationships between young girls and adult men. That is still a thing. In addition to that, to provide more context, gay men, gay boys, graduate at much higher rates than straight men and straight boys. But gay girls and gay women don't. This inclination to force everything.
Can't believe she said that and she missed it on purpose.
I'm sorry, but that's not what the data is showing. That's not it. And if we're going back to Push Out, another thing that she shows is while we're having so many conversations about the disciplinary gap between white boys and Black boys, the disciplinary gap between white girls and Black girls is actually larger. Black people face hurdles within these institutions. And so
weaponizing intersectionality but not neglect specific plights of Black men and boys.
All of these conversations get centered on the boys are struggling, instead of thinking about, well, you know what? The girls are also facing some real hurdles, but what's going different for them? What are they doing differently? Are they erecting more robust systems and networks of support and investment? Are they internalizing more the connection between living a good, stable life and getting through school? Morris's central idea is the fact that the hurdles that are placed in front of Black girls are rarely mentioned is a product of patriarchy. It is a product of misogyny. That Black girl struggles are just invisible.
Oh boy, here we go.
Imagine them. You just think, oh, Black girls are magic. Black girls are magical fairy tale unicorns, and everything just comes to us so easily. I mean, if I really wanted to get into what I think the problem is, it's both structural and attitudinal. That's what I think.
Here's the conservative part.
There is a... Ooh, they're going to call me a misandrist, but I think
you are.
That has set in and been normalized. I do. I'm sorry, I do think that. A lack of resilience. What did Uncle Joe say? When
A lack of... Now, how often do you hear leftists speak about that? People on the left. We know it's a thing, but we know better to use it often because we understand how it can be weaponized. You don't often hear people on the left speak about being resilient. Right up until it comes time to talk about Black men and boys. Who else told us about being resilient? Was it or was it not Mr. FD Signifier himself on my channel? The second conversation. Oh, you gotta love it. See, when we start talking about Black men and the plights of Black men, we all of a sudden start about resilience, or they lack resilience. Why can't I talk to him like he ain't ish and he just bounce back from that? Why can't we rig the system against them and they bounce back from that? Why can't we mock them, make fun of them, and they bounce back from that? Why can't we put the thumb on the scales for the ladies, for the girls, for the women, and they bounce back from that? Why can't we have special programs for Black girls and women specifically, and the Black boys and Black men get it out the mud and just bounce back from that? Why can't we? Why can't they just be resilient in the face of all of that? Once again, to my title, how to turn Black women conservative. You want to turn Black women conservative? Speak about doing something for Black boys and men. Speak about doing something positive and uplifting for Black boys and men. Speak about this, speak about the systemic plight of Black boys and men and what you're going to do to remedy and alleviate that plight and watch black women get real conservative and speak about personal responsibility and speak about resilience and speak about those black men having to lift themselves up by their bootstraps. Get it out the mud talk. Huh? If you want to see black women become conservative overnight, dear Democrats, dear political left in America, start speaking about doing something positive for black boys and men. And watch how quickly you get black women calling in to either forcibly include black girls into my brother's keeper or to say to shred it. Goddamn Z. Huh? These are supposed to be black people that care about black people. These are supposed to be black women who primarily care about black women, but care about the entire black community. Does this sound like she cares about the entire black community? Does this sound like Miss Foster appreciates that black men and black women are attached by the hip, and if black men don't do well, black women don't do well? Or is this the sound of, as Poussin said to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, do you care more about white supremacy or do you care more about black women's power over black men? And what Miss Foster is telling you is that she cares about black women's power over black men. Huh? Continuing.
Down, you get right back. Is that what Uncle Joe said? I don't know. You know, Joe Biden popped his head out recently. Crawled up out of that crypt, girl. I think it's structure and culture. It's like, it's just so funny. Y'all want to monkey see, monkey do everything but forcing your kids to go to college. I'm sorry. I just think that's...
It's real difficult to force your son to go to college when at the end of the rainbow, at the finish line of college graduation or master's degree, advanced degree graduation, or PhD graduation is a Miss Foster waiting for you to be your quote unquote wife, not your wife, stop it. Your girlfriend, not your girlfriend, stop it. Right? It's real difficult for us to say, hey, young men, go to school and get your education and do well, because at the end of the line is going to be Miss Foster waiting for you. That's your trophy. When we show them what the trophy is and it's you, Miss Foster, them boys lose their appetite real quick. Those young men lose their appetite real quick. Huh? Even for the brothers that went to Ivy Leagues, when we show them at the finish line is you, ooh, goddamn. Huh? All those brothers considering HBCUs, when we show them that at the finish line is a you, ooh, goddamn. All the second tier schools, right? The almost Ivies. When we show those young men, those young black men in specific, that at the finish line is you, Miss Foster, they lose their appetite. Huh? Say that, Telescope. And Telescope says they don't want to be wives, they want to be overseers. When you listen to Miss Foster, does that sound like a person that does not want to be an overseer of black men? That has contempt for black men? She's one or two statements away from saying we need to bring black men to heel. Huh? She's a second or two away from saying that. Oh boy. And let me read this one now. And Vince says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Vince says, I'm not even hungry no more. I'm not even hungry no more. Exactly. Right? Listening to Miss Foster, you lose your appetite real quick. And these are supposed to be the quote unquote thinkers of the black community, the tastemakers of the black community. Yeah, that's it. Continuing.
Weird. And the weirdness of that indicates to me that it is something beyond just not seeing the value in college. Okay, young black men, young black boys have a trauma. Well, we need to figure out, and by we, I mean y'all, need to figure out how to address the trauma and rectify the situation. Because I've been trying to downplay this, but it's like, y'all think black girls don't have trauma from school, from college? Is that really what y'all think? And then
Once
when we
again,
talk
benign
about
neglecting black boys' plight.
getting through K through 12 and making it through undergrad and grad school, I know there's this idea of women just love gay men. Do they? Y'all think we really beat homophobia like that? Y'all think we really beat homophobia to the extent that teachers, administrators, professors...
Social dominance order, ma'am. It's about what elite rich white men and white women think. Not you. Who's a threat to them and their power? LGBTQ black men are not a threat to them and their power. Neither are you. It's not about you and other black academics and whatever quote unquote homophobic views you have. Jesus Christ. It's not about the peons and whatever homophobic, quote unquote homophobic views they have. It's about elite men, elite rich white men. You know, the same ones you were mocking black men about earlier? Are LGBTQ black men, do they pose a threat to white heterosexual male order? No. Especially, quote unquote, the feminine ones, the femmes. See, this is what happened when your lens is only intersectionality. When intersectionality is the only lens you can see through, you never consider social dominance order. And you have to be somewhat empathetic and sympathetic and put yourself in the shoes of an elite rich white man. I thought y'all the ones that like to read and put yourselves in the shoes of the characters in the book, the fiction books, right? Ma'am, if you're an elite rich white man, who poses the threat? Is it the black women? You know, the ones that would give you the vagina if you asked? Is it the LGBTQ black men? You know, the ones that might bend over for you if you ask? Or is it the straight black man? The one that if you talk to him the wrong way, he might say, to hell with this job and this degree. You're going to be picking your teeth up off the floor. Huh? Is it the straight black man? The one that maybe the cute little blonde receptionist at the front desk might take a liking to? It's like, you know, Miss Foster, let's be very clear. You know this. But when it comes time to talk about the plights of black men and boys, you become obtuse. Because of course. Huh? Continuing.
Homophobia to the extent that teachers, administrators, professors don't have any bias. It's just crazy. It's really crazy. So yes, I do absolutely believe that there is something else going on, and maybe that is problematic. Ooh, speaking of school and grit, this connects perfectly. I got a call from one of my nieces last night, and she goes, Aunt Kim, do you have 20 minutes to have a conversation? And first of all, I was taken aback because I'm like, who is this considerate princess asking me if I have enough time to talk to her? Of course I have enough time. And so she told me that she just got the word that she made her school's dance team. And y'all, I screamed. Like, I was so excited. Like, I tried out for the dance team. I was so proud. And I've been internalizing all of those memes and the general knowledge about you're not supposed to...
This personal story is important. That's why I'm playing it.
You should feel so proud of yourself or something like that, right? But I was trying to convey the fact that I wasn't proud just because she made it. I wasn't proud just because she got the positive outcome. I was proud because last year she didn't get it and she was so sad. And actually she had just sprained her arm or something like that, but she was so sad about it. And so she came back and she's been working this whole year, practicing the splits, watching the YouTube videos and practicing or whatever. Okay. And she's been telling us, I've never seen the girl dance. So I honestly wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was just hoping for the best. Okay. And I knew she had it in her mind. I knew that she had been working on her own, but the fact that instead of sulking or saying, oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore, she got better. She worked, she practiced, She improved. She was committed. She came back stronger and she made it. Like, that is the stuff that I live for. This is why Auntie Life is the best. And I'm, again, just hammering it with her and with her sister. Like, no, the important part is not the end. The important part is all of the work that you do from point A to point B. And yes, of course, we celebrate the end. Of course, come to me. I want to celebrate with you. But even if you don't get the positive, you should feel good about the fact that you have the mindset, the grit, the determination to go back to the drawing board, stick it out, and get better. With my other niece, who was really good at sports, when she tells me about not winning a basketball game or not winning a volleyball game or whatever,
I want to be very clear what Mr. Z has said on this channel before. We are not about loser men here. With that, Black women like you are not owed winners, Miss Foster. You may be with a winner right now, but you're not owed that. The women like you, Black women specifically like you in your ilk, you're not owed Black men with grit and determination. To hell with your degree. You're not owed that. Other Black women who care about Black men and show that, maybe they are, but not you. Antagonistic little trolls like you are not owed kick-ass Black men with grit and determination and drive and motivation and aspirations. You're not owed that. Why do you think women like you get to speak the way you do about Black men, and then you're owed on the other side of that Black men who are successful with drive and grit and motivation, who are inspiring? No. And if you haven't seen yet, ma'am, based off of the marriage numbers for particularly college-educated women, more and more Black men think the way Z does on this, even if they've never interacted with the Black manosphere. And what you gonna do about it? See, this is why Mr. Z says women like you are the average Black woman's class enemy. Because eventually, Miss Foster, you're probably gonna get married to the guy you're with now. And you guys will probably have children within wedlock. And all of your subscribers and followers who sound like you but didn't attend Harvard, don't have the connections, and don't have the class, they are going to be out here with their Rolls toys. They're going to be out here getting smashed and passed by their non-Black co-workers. They're going to be out here in same-sex loving relationships saying, you can't help who you love. But in reality, they had no choice in the matter. Y'all are not owed kick-ass Black men after you didn't advocate for them when they were Black boys. When they were Black boys and you did not advocate for them, as a matter of fact, you wanted the system to leave them be? Huh? Then those Black boys don't grow up to be kick-ass Black men. Then it's you and the non-Black guys and maybe one or two Black LGBTQ men in your work environment. And then you wonder why nobody advocates for you and stands up for you other than, well, maybe other Black women. Well, have fun with that. Continuing. Oh, actually, before we do that, Eric Denman says, and he's exactly 100% right, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Mr. Z, for the Kimberly Fosters, their degree is their entire personality, isn't it? Isn't it? They don't know how to speak any other way. This is everything. Huh? 100% correct. The degree is the personality. It's fascinating listening to women who say your money, you lack, what they say, you're not likable and you lack a personality and you try to hide behind whatever success you might have financially. And that's like levied against men in general, Black men specifically by Black women, right? And yet those women then turn around and hide behind their academic accomplishments and their job and career. Huh? They're crap people that have horrible personalities. They're not that interesting. They're antagonistic little mean, sassy, rude trolls, little smug trolls. They hide behind whatever letters they have in front of their name or whatever letters they have behind their name. They love speaking about how insecure the men are because of how quote unquote successful they are, but yet they sound and look like Miss Foster. Are y'all sure we're cowards? Are y'all sure we are insecure? Are you sure we're intimidated by your success? Or are we disgusted by how you speak and how you conduct yourself because of you hiding all of your character flaws and the fact that you're insufferable behind your supposed success and your degrees and your accomplishments, ma'am? Huh? And once again, Eric Denman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Continuing.
Volleyball game or whatever, I'll be like, well, Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity basketball team. And I'm like, girl, does this even sound convincing? You don't know anything about sports. But the point is that I'm trying to reinforce the idea that even the greats have to put in the work. And if you can't learn from failure, learn from not getting the thing that you want in order to come back better, you're going to be a loser. And look, I've said.
Yep, she did call black men losers. Hey, we okay. Look, the classist elitist troll, misandrist troll, calling black men. I told y'all let them talk. You let black women talk long enough, especially these. I'm mad I'm not an upper middle class or rich white woman, but I'm not gonna say it. You let them talk long enough, they sound like Miss Foster. Huh? Going to that St. Cyrs comment. Exactly. And I heard when she said monkey see, monkey do. Y'all monkey see, monkey do, but y'all won't force your sons to go to college. Look, we don't owe y'all that. Go get it from the white man. Y'all are ready to bottom for them. He just won't marry you. Miss Foster, you're in a relationship with a black man. Make your sister who can't get a black man worth a damn. The ones that claim that, at least. Tell them to make their white coworker that's smashing. Tell those black women to make those white men marry them. Those Latino men marry them. Excuse me. Those South and East Asian men marry them. Their coworker who's smashing on lunch break. Their coworker who they have a sneaky link with. The non-black coworker. Tell those black women to make those white men marry them. Huh? I heard what she said. Y'all monkey see, monkey do with everything, but you won't make your sons go to college. If at the end of college, at the end of the rainbow, at the finish line, is a you, Miss Foster, you're absolutely right. They can't make their sons go to college. If you're supposed to be the trophy, if women like you are supposed to be the trophy, you are absolutely 100% right, Miss Foster. Huh? Continuing.
And y'all can be offended by this because I don't know you, so I won't say it to you. But I do think that there are loser mindsets. Some people flat out have big loser energy, loser mindsets, loser spirits. Not everybody. Not everybody. Okay? But some people do. Okay.
Hey, FD. I'm just saying, bro. Hey, foreign, what happened? Consciously, what happened? Olay, what happened? T-Noir, what happened? Julesy, what happened? Huh? Khadijah, what happened? Lil Bill, what happened? Miss Foster gets to speak like this. This is the same thing she was doing with Obsidian. She gets to jab and then hide and fake cry and call YouTube. They're scaring me. They're threatening me. They're going to dox me. Huh? How many black women do we have in the black community like this? Little sassy, smug trolls. Huh? Insufferable trolls. Little mean, smug trolls. antagonistic trolls, huh? Essentially calling black men losers now. The masses of black men losers because the white guys won't marry them. The white guys they're sitting in class with in college, they're sitting in the auditorium in college. Those white guys and those Latinos, even though black men attend college more than Latinos, but okay. The Asian guys, so it's really the white and Asian guys, they won't even entertain a relationship with a black woman, let alone marry her. And so because of that, they turn around and call black men losers, call black boys losers. Ma'am, if you are the trophy for first place, I think a lot of black men will take that loser position. They'll come in for 60, their 70,000, their $80,000 a year. If that's what looking like a loser is, if they don't have you as a wife, I think the majority of black men take that. If you are what winning looks like, I think the majority of black, and we know that you earn a good $300,000 a year. We saw, we heard. Shout out to Obsidian. We know. You'll be surprised how many black men would rather earn their 60 or 70 and not be married to you than be married to you with your 300,000 now. You're insufferable. You are insufferable. We can see it from your gestures, ma'am. We can see it by the way you speak. We can see it at how you speak. You are insufferable. Shout out to your man. Miss Foster, as I've advised you before, you better don't come back out here in this dating scene. You better hold on to Buddy Rowe for dear life. You better hold on to him for dear life. Or go marry the basic Bob looking ass white dude. Continuing.
As we know, if you've ever achieved anything in your life, making it the first time is cool. But making it, getting the thing, getting the grade, getting the trophy, figuring out how to do the stitch, even something as simple as the boots on the ground dance. How many times did I have to play the boots on the ground TikToks in order to learn the boots on the ground dance? But look, this summer, when y'all play boots on the ground, guess who's gonna be ready? Me. My thing is, how do you react to disappointment? How do you react to your body not doing what you want it to do? When I was a kid, we used to call this stick-to-itiveness. That's what they used to say in the 90s. Do they still say that? I don't think so. But perseverance, stick-to-itiveness. I'm bringing it back. It used to be up on posters and everything. And again, I know y'all are gonna say I'm being too harsh. I've taken on fully the identity of bootstrapper Kimberly, and everybody does not have the capacity. I understand. Look, I get.
No, ma'am, it's not about bootstrapper Kimberly. You're a misandrist troll. Don't try to reframe it as, no, this is bootstrapper talk. No, this is misandry talk. Because you're specifically speaking about men, black men. It's not about bootstraps. Nice way of trying to reframe it. Because you're not just speaking about quote unquote black people and including black women in that. You're specifically speaking about black men, ma'am. So you're not speaking about just lifting yourself up by your bootstraps. This is not just bootstrap Kimberly. This is who Kimberly is. Misandry Kimberly. Do I even have to say the misandry part? Don't we already know that's what she is? Huh? We don't say in bison. We just say bison. There's no point in saying misandry Kimberly. We already know. She's just Kimberly. Kimberly Nicole Foster. The misandrist. No point in saying the misandrist. That goes without saying. Huh? Continuing.
Not have the capacity. I understand. Look, I get it. Everybody does not have the same capacity to take the hit and come back. So when we're having this conversation, always imagine that I am well aware of the multivariate structures of oppression that everybody in the world has to navigate. I totally understand that. I'm talking about something much more micro. Let's bring it back. My concerns when we're talking about boys generally, and black boys in particular, because I am a black person, okay, is that it's always about the micro and never the macro. And I genuinely believe, and this is where it gets dodgy, I know, I think something has collapsed inside the average young man. Something has deflated.
Imagine living in a system that has advocated for the girls and the women. For average folks, we already know the elite rich white man, he's good. He's insulated himself from the fallout of extreme feminism and radical feminism. For the most part, we know that those elite rich white men at the top have weaponized women like you against, well, men like me, Miss Foster. So for the most part, the Donald Trumps of the world have insulated themselves. The Bidens of the world have insulated themselves and their sons. So when you speak about men being deflated and boys being deflated, who popped the goddamn balloon, ma'am? Who's deflating the men? Yes, the elites. Okay, yeah. And women like you. Women like you. If the fear is that we're producing way too many non-college educated men and y'all want them to go to these feminized ass environments so they can be indoctrinated in the same crap you are indoctrinated in, but the problem is that they're too deflated to even attend college to be indoctrinated in the first place. That means y'all deflate these men before 2 decades. God damn. Y'all are deflating these boys before they're 18. And let's be clear, we're applying for college and university at 17. So that means y'all are deflating them before they're 17 years old. Women like you, ma'am. It's women like you. Now, let's be very clear. If Miss Foster had a son, you better believe he'd be going to university and college. I believe her. I believe it. I believe it. But women like you, in your mindset concerning black boys and men, generally speaking, ma'am, that's what's deflating them. That's what's deflating them. Your misandrous ways, putting the thumb on the scales for the girls and the women, and then just telling the men, hey, get it from the mug. Get it out the mug. Right? Continuing.
The average young man. Something has deflated. And that deflation has made it almost impossible for them to endure. I hear different people talk about it differently. Like, can you struggle? Can you endure? Can you strive? Can you stick it out? And again, we're not talking about what you do after the federal government cuts Medicaid. I'm talking about what you do after somebody says, ooh, that wasn't good enough. No, I'm not pleased with that. The boys in school thing.
Ma'am, this is not an Aaliyah song. Rest in peace. There's no dust yourself off and try again for insufferable a-holes like you. We leave y'all for the white men. Huh? We leave y'all for the Latinos and the Asians, ma'am. Ain't no dusting ourselves off for you, not for women like you. Nah, them white dudes and them Latinos and them Asians could come and get y'all. Right?
Mario, Jorge, Cartwright, Shane son, we got a thrift store. Mario, Jorge, Cartwright, Shane son, we got a thrift store of leftover bitches. They're leftover because apparently it ain't enough niggas is worth a damn. Whatever. Point is they left over. We need you to come pick them up. No instruction manual. Figure it out. Sprinkle some white ice on it. Maybe, I've heard the white ice is colder. Sprinkle some white ice on it. It goes with everything. If you come within the next 24 hours, we'll give you a complimentary book on how to date black women for white men. That's a $4 value.
Ma'am, we left you to the non-black dudes. Huh? So we're just supposed to deal with the verbal abuse from women like you who hide behind 4 and 5 syllable words, the insults, the goading, the making fun of, the mocking, and we're supposed to just, dust ourselves off and try to prove ourselves to you? We don't owe you that. We don't even owe you that, ma'am. We owe you nothing. Just like you and other black women like you in your ilk have made sure to emphasize to black men that you owe us nothing, to emphasize to black boys that you owe them nothing. We owe you nothing, ma'am. Go get it from the white man. Now, you, once again, individually, you have your black man. Tell other black women who are in the exact same position as you, but with no man, to go get it from the white man, ma'am. Your Ivy League graduate black women who struggle, tell them to go get it from the white man. And hopefully they don't end up like Ebony K. Williams, goddamn Z. Shout out to all those single mothers by choice. Huh? Test tube babies and all. Shout out to you. Imagine making yourself so insufferable that now you have to impregnate yourself. Huh? Wow. Continue.
Biologists are working hard on it. Of course, not with the help of the Federal Department of Education, but, you know, that's another conversation for another day. They're working through why boys are disappearing from college, why they're struggling to stay, why they're opting out of everything from jobs to relationships, and maybe not even, you know, because some of that is involuntary. So sometimes it's opting out. Sometimes it's never even having the opportunity to get in, okay? With regard to the school thing, one thing I am genuinely concerned about is the desire or the potential that people might desire to completely reorder and reorganize these institutions in order to cater to what to me feels like a total collapse in the ability to endure from...
She just said it, y'all. She's afraid that they're going to reorder this. This is where the let them get it out the mud comes from. She's afraid that the people are going to be like, yo, we leaving our boys and our men too far behind. We got to reorganize this, reorder this. She just gave it up. This is why you let them talk, because eventually they're going to tell you what it is, and she just did it. Huh? This is her real issue right here. We're supposed to do for black women and girls. We're supposed to put the thumb on the scales for black women and girls. But black men and boys just got to get it out the mud. Black men and boys just get it out the mud, and don't nobody reorient this so that we can do better for black men and boys, particularly black boys. This is why Mr. Z says, you better hope enough white men are interested. Latino men and Asian men are interested. Huh? Other non-black women are interested. Or y'all just be in relationships with yourselves, playing with yourselves, kissing yourselves. Ooh, goddamn Z. Shout out to the black women. Y'all subscribe to Kim Foster. Y'all don't realize what a troll she is and what she's condemning you to. Oh, well. Continuing.
Feels like a total collapse in the ability to endure from young men and boys. That's not to say, as I always have to say, that they don't need things. It is to say I am worried about the remedy. Like, are we going to completely upend society because whatever it is it technology? Is it COVID brain damage? Is it, I don't know, structurally misandrist teachers? Girl, I just don't believe that one. But what are we going to...
Of course you don't believe that one. You are that structurally misandrist. And I'm glad this is the perfect time for me to read this super chat. And a split Jim says, Yale study with eye scan technology shows hyperfocus on black boys in preschool, looking for them to have bad behavior. Yeah, I saw it. Huh? Look that up, Miss Foster. She knows, by the way. And by the way, even for the black, remember, there was a black female teacher there, and she even was looking at the black boy to misbehave, and all the kids were acting the same. So yeah, Miss Foster, it is systemic misandry against black men and boys. But that's difficult for you to consider because, once again, you view everything through the lens of intersectionality that benefits black women and girls. You view you and other women like you use intersectionality to benign neglect black boys and black men and their specific plights. Things that either disproportionately affect them negatively or completely affect them negatively. And so, yeah, I don't believe it's misandry. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's structural misandry. Of course not. Huh? And do we really believe that Miss Kimberly Nicole Foster doesn't think it's structural misandry, or does she just not want to consider it? She knows it's structural misandry directed towards black men and boys, but you can't give black men and boys that Because then how are we supposed to say that black women, because they're black and women, are disproportionately and primarily affected by all the negative isms if we start to cede ground in that argument to black men and boys? Oh, absolutely not. Tell them to get it out the mud. Huh? Oh boy. Huh? And thank you for the super chat, a split Jim. Exactly. There was a black female teacher there, and she was even looking at the black boy sideways. I saw that. Huh? And thank you for that super chat. Continuing.
Diagnosis is going to be right. TLDR, I don't think it's all mindset, but I do think some of it is mindset. I do. That's my provocative statement of the day. I think some of it is mindset. And I will acknowledge all the time, I think I have mindset privilege. And by the way, I was just thinking about this the other day. Top 2 privileges, mindset privilege and family privilege. We can debate that later. But yeah, because of the neurodivergence, because of my family of origin, the plan B thing is just not something I think of. I think that you set a goal and you work relentlessly toward that goal. I only applied to one college. I picked my major early. I think I picked my major after taking one class. Well, no, it couldn't have been after taking one class. Or maybe it was after taking one African-American studies class. But it was early because I went into college thinking that I wanted to do something different. I started for Harriet in college and saw it through before people thought that the internet was a real thing. I get distracted like everybody else, but I don't get deterred. Now, the distraction means that I want to jump and hop and do 50 million different things. That's another thing. But like having an internal knowledge, a surety that I have the ability to do the thing that I want to do, to reach the goal that I want to reach, that to me is the ultimate mindset. And I was watching an interview not too long ago with, I don't even really know what he does, but he's on all of these podcasts, the inspiration porn podcasts, and his name is Naval Ravikant, and he said the biggest privilege is self-esteem. Yeah, I think that was in the thumbnail, or was it maybe the title?
Is Miss Foster not sounding like a bit of a hustle bro here? Is she not sounding like a bit of a hustle bro? Once again, to my title, how to turn black women conservative. Y'all don't hear the bit of hustle bro in here? Hey, when it comes to black men, boy, it is so easy to turn black women into hypocrites. It's so easy to turn them into hypocrites. Oh man, not you, Miss Foster. Not hustle bro, Miss Foster. Not get it out the mud, Miss Foster. Not lift yourself up by the bootstraps, Miss Foster. Ooh, it's so easy to turn supposed leftists when it comes to black men. Oh, supposed leftists when it comes to black boys, supposed leftists. Oh, it's so easy to turn y'all conservative. Oh, it's easy. Huh? Not Miss Foster. Talking about mindset. Not the mind over matter. Oh boy, not mind over matter, Miss Foster. You all right? Huh? Not you, Miss Foster. Oh boy. Continuing, and better you says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Y'all giving this lady too much final boss energy. She's a level 8 Diglett, hysterical. The Goomba that wants to wear Bowser's crown, hysterical. She's Hitmonlee at best. And y'all gives you a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. Okay, we're back. Continuing, y'all, continuing. Let's try to end this out, and y'all good. Here we go.
I think that was in the thumbnail, or was it maybe the title of the video, so y'all can look that up. But yes, low self-esteem is a killer. But that was also modeled for me. A thing that came up for me in therapy recently is how I am so grateful that my parents taught me how to work hard. Not just that working hard elicits rewards, it's how to work hard. Oh, you want to do this thing? Okay, well then hunker down and do it. Like, to pay for trips in high school, like we went on different trips. One of them was to go to the Harvard speech and debate tournament, and my mom didn't pay for it. I got a part-time job and worked for, I don't even know, maybe it was a month. It was like during Christmas, and I worked at this store in the mall called Body Central. And Christmas time at the mall, before the mall was dead, horrible. But it was like, oh, you want to go on a trip? Okay, if we're already paying for car and car insurance and you to live and all of this, that's your responsibility. And so, yeah, I worked in Body Central for that month and sold gauchos to women in 2006. And I know people are going to react negatively to me calling it loser spirit, but I got to be honest. We can absolutely hold the little boys with kid gloves.
Ma'am, you're speaking about black men and boys. Of course you're going to call it loser spirit. Of course, black men and boys aren't white men and boys and aren't black girls and women. So of course you're going to call it loser spirit. I said that to FD. In the black community, black men and boys are taught, raised and taught as if they are defective white men and boys and black girls and women simultaneously. And that got him in his feelings because he knows it's true. And he had it backed up by Professor Odie. Y'all know what it, everyone knows what it is, man. Don't let Miss Foster get y'all, messed up out here. She knows what it is. She got to defend her position. She is a little trolling ass black feminist. And she knows that the tides are turning and that white society, and she knows a couple of crumbs are going to flick off the table for black men and boys. So she knows white society is like, hey, we got to do something for our boys and our men. And a couple of those crumbs are going to fall on black men's table. And she don't like it. So she's trying to salt this early. That's what this is about. Huh? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Continuing.
Children, but I do encounter adults with loser spirits. And a lot of those adults are people of a single gender. I'm sorry.
A lot of those people are people who single gender. I'm sorry. Black men still earn more than black women. Well, there's that. Of a certain gender. Hey, FD, I'm just saying. Foreign, where you at? What happened? Black men are Nick cells, right? You land this whole fem cell. I don't care if she getting wood from the see, he ain't doing nothing to you. You're right. We land this little fem cell, Harvard educated fem cell talk. And every time she open her mouth, every chance she get, she's saying something misandrous. Every single time, every chance she get. But y'all okay with that? Huh? Then you wonder why your nephews, shout out to Lion, are popping up to the family function with the Latina. Huh? You wonder why they popping up to the family function with the white girls. These were the girls that were sitting next to them in class in high school, in class in college. Huh? These are the women. These are the girls. These are the professors. You wonder why your son, your black son, popped up to Christmas with the white girl. Who he was supposed to pop up to Christmas with? Miss Foster? Huh? So now black men are losers because we don't want to go to college to be in class with women like Miss Kim Foster, to be taught by women like Miss Foster, and to be told, oh yeah, by the way, here's the finish line, and your trophy is a woman like Miss Foster. Now we're losers. Y'all act Z, those are the winners. Huh? You better believe if loser spirit mean that I end up with a Miss Foster, Mr. Z will just take that L. Not only Mr. Z will tattoo the L 21 Savage style on his forehead. Huh? If Miss Foster is what winning looks like, oh boy. If Miss Foster is what you get as a black man for winning and for achieving at the highest level in Ivy League and going to working at one of these Fortune 500 firms, and if Miss Foster is the wife that you get at the end, oh, absolutely not. You could tattoo the L on Mr. Z's forehead. Huh? If she's that's what winning looks like. And y'all gives you a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. Let's play this. Let's see if we can end on out. Here we go.
Adults are people of a single gender. I'm sorry. Misinterest came up, but it's a lot of, come on. There are a lot of men with loser spirits. You know I'm not lying. You know that the reason why a show like Adolescence exists, Come on. Y'all know. Again, those are little boys, but we're talking about the adult version. You know. God, I don't want to go to, but you know, a lot of that red pill shit is, I mean, with loser spirits. And maybe this is one place where my personal feeling is evolving and shifting, and I'm just always trying.
Your personal feelings, ma'am? No, they ain't evolving and shifting. You've been bitter since middle school, ma'am. Probably since elementary school. Definitely in high school when them brothers wasn't asking you to prom. No, you've been bitter for decades, ma'am. You're 36. You've probably been bitter for at least 3 of those decades. 36, yeah, you three decades. We'll give you the first 6 years. You ain't really get it yet. Oh no, you've been a little bitter troll for the longest. Huh? Maybe it's my feelings. Yeah, no, yeah, it is. It is. You want to call black men bitter. You want to call black men losers, ma'am. Once again, if winning means we end up with a Miss Foster, I'll take that L. I will take that I will tattoo that L on my forehead. If being with you or a woman like you is what winning looks like. Shout out to your man. Woof. All right, bro. All right. Huh? Y'all are probably, if you propose, you get married, y'all might be married for a lifetime. But if you end up in divorce court, don't say Z ain't tell you. First of all, you already knew. Oh boy. This is what winning look. Wait a minute. Black men are supposed to graduate high school, get into copious amounts of student loan debt, tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. If they go to Howard, I heard it was what, $50,000 a year. So that's 4 years. That's $200,000 at the least for Howard. So black men are supposed to be, let's say you don't get no student loans, or let's say you get a little bit of student loans. Let's say you're still sitting with 100, 120, maybe $80,000 in student loan debt. We're supposed to get in that student loan debt to end up with a Miss Foster at the end? And that's Howard. That's not even Harvard. Huh? You're supposed to end up with insane amounts of student loan debt. So you could be sitting in class with a bunch of Miss Kim Fosters. And so when you graduate, or when you decide to go to grad school, you can be again in class with the Miss Fosters. And then when you graduate that, or when you go to law school and you graduate that, the society could tell you, oh yeah, for your wife, yeah, it's a bunch of Miss Fosters. A whole lot of black ones, some white ones, some Latinas, but yeah, they're almost all like Miss Foster. They all got some misandry in them. They're all bitter. Most of them aren't lookers. Yeah, that's it. Huh? Talking about loser men. You know, there was a little bit of misandry, Kim. Ma'am, you don't have to say misandry and Kim in the same sentence. We already assume it because that's who you are. We already know. We know, and we know what informs you, ma'am. Continuing.
Critical. We know that good mindsets, or what I would call a good mindset, they're not distributed evenly throughout the population. And that's a part of the problem. And the other really scary thing about this is, because of the way that inequality is growing, as we're moving toward a more winner-take-all society, the girls that get it, and the ones that don't are going to fall further and further behind. Look at what's going on.
Well, get the white man then.
In the United States. Look at what's going on. You think that this administration has any investment in remedying how the gap between the people who have it and the people who don't, the people who have a certain kind of mindset and adaptability, and the people who can metabolize rejection and the people who don't? I also think about, like, at what point, and maybe this is the other useful thing about spending time with history, knowing your history, talking to your people, listening to your aunts and uncles, grandmas, grandpas talk about all the stuff they had to go through, because it's easier to be like, girl, you're really going to cry about this thing? Think about what these people went through. I have a real negative reaction when people say, like, oh, resilience is a privilege, because I'm like, were your ancestors privileged? Honestly, you guys, I'm really trying to work through this, because I'm a Negro.
She is pulling out all the stops. She is pulling out all the stops. Hey, man, look, she is pulling out all the stops. She's bringing up slavery. She's all the stops. Oof, Miss Foster. Just say, well, you said loser, so I was gonna say just say these Negroes are losers, but you said it already. This is why you let them talk. Y'all want to know why you let them talk? This is why you let them talk. Huh? When you let them talk long enough, they sound like Miss Foster. Y'all are just losers. Oh, there we go. There we go. Ma'am, we are the losers. Go end up with the winner white men then. Or the Asian men. If you think the white men ain't checking, have fun with the Asian guys. You're right. Okay, fine. Black men are losers. What y'all gonna do about it? You're not gonna raise your sons the right way. Maybe you individually will, Miss Foster. What about the masses of other black women? Ooh, goddamn. You're not gonna help to put black men and boys in a better position now, are you? You're like actively advocating against that right here, right now. So that's a no. Huh. Well, continuing.
They had trauma. They had toxicity. They had violence. They had terror. I don't know, y'all. Anyways, remedies. I don't have remedies, girl. I'm just a lady who talks on the internet. But we do need to...
A troll who talks on the internet.
Collapse, meaning the fact that there's no third spaces, no community centers. People don't go to church anymore. I understand why you don't go to church, but church doubled or tripled as community center, social space, where certain kinds of values and support networks were created and built and transmitted. And the thing about not participating in formal education is where a lot of that stuff gets concretized. That's where a lot of those networks get crystallized, especially if you're a girl. But anyways, resilience isn't optional. College is optional, okay? Fine. College is optional. Everybody doesn't have to go to college, even though I think we should stop telling people that, but everybody doesn't have to go to college. Resilience is not optional. Trying again can be embarrassing. Learning in public can be embarrassing. Being corrected, very embarrassing. Critique the system, do that, but we do have to do more about how people are engaging around the idea of failure. And that's why I was just so extraordinarily proud of my niece. Because we've had the conversation before of like, I don't know, y'all. Y'all giving me loser vibes right now. I've said that to them. This is not gendered. I've said it's giving loser vibes. And that's why when she showed up for herself and got what she wanted.
It's not about gender. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. She spent this whole time, nearly 30 minutes, antagonizing and mocking and making fun of the men, black men. And yeah, it's not about gender. Okay. Yeah, that's it. All right. Hey, she really thinks everybody else is slow and dumb, particularly black men. Definitely black men. Most definitely black men. Continuing.
When she showed up for herself and got what she wanted, I just was like, oh my God, they grow up so fast. At any rate, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Whew. I'm sorry to torture y'all. I'm sorry to torture y'all with the torture. Oh man, this is worse than waterboarding, isn't it? Right. Look, I had to do it, y'all. I had to do it. Z, no, you didn't. You just like torturing us. No, I had to do it. Right. The Miss Fosters of the world, what makes what they're doing so egregious is their framing. They frame it like they're advocating for other black women and they care about black people and the black men are just so stubborn and the black men are sexist and the black men just don't like black women. And she said it like, this is loser talk. This is bitter black men talk. First, no. Secondly, what if it was? Now what y'all gonna do about it? Like, what y'all gonna do about it? Like, you got out the game, you have a man. What about your sister? Huh? What about your sister? What are they supposed to do? Oh man. Huh? And let's read this from a split gem. And he says, I think you meant to say I was working at a hospital in Germany, and the enlisted black man was knocking down white women lieutenants who are nurses. Eventually, a hospital meeting was had, and was had. The last topic was fraternization. Army doc. Okay, I gotta read it from now here now. Eventually a hospital meeting was had. The last topic was fraternization. Army docs mad, so they snitched. Straight black men will always be a threat. There you go. There you go. You think Miss Foster doesn't know? She knows. Kimberly Nicole Foster isn't dumb. She's bitter. She's not slow. She's bitter. It's not that she doesn't get it. She's bitter. She's angry that y'all don't treat her like how she imagines Brittany Renner at least used to be treated, was treated. She's bitter. She's a homely looking, bitter black woman with a degree from a very notable, well, the most notable institution, arguably in America, Harvard. She's bitter. And she gonna make y'all pay for not choosing her. It don't matter if she got a man right now, a black man. That's not who she wanted. Sorry, brother, if you didn't know. She's bitter. She told you she used to date a dude that was 6'6". She was supposed to end up with somebody like that. She's bitter. She told you she went to high school prom with the white guy because the black jocks and the black nerds weren't checking. She's bitter. And she gonna make y'all pay. She goes, every penny of that Harvard degree is about making y'all pay. Black men. Every single red penny that was spent on that Harvard degree is about making y'all pay for not choosing up on her. And not being rich and wealthy choosing up on her too, by the way. Huh? She's gonna mock you. She's gonna make fun of you. She's gonna say misandrous things, and she knows that the system will ignore her. Black women will encourage her. Black men like FD will pretend like they didn't hear it or see it. Black men like Conscious Lee will pretend like they didn't hear it or see it. Black men like Foreign Man in a Foreign Land will call you Nick cells. Huh? Black men like Professor Odie will try to explain it away. She knows that. So she's going to spend every penny of that degree mocking, making fun of you, ridiculing you, dancing on your misfortunes, acting like she care. Because y'all ain't choose up on her. For 3.5 decades, y'all didn't choose up on her. And she gonna make y'all pay. Mr. Z is saying y'all, but that includes Mr. Z, even though Mr. Z in a whole relationship with an ADOS black woman. Oh, but she's light skinned. Oh, well, there you go. Strike one, strike a million. Huh? Oh, she gonna make y'all pay. And there you go, black men. Huh? And to Split Jim, we know black men are a threat. Miss Foster knows. Miss Foster know white elite men don't see them as no goddamn threat. Miss Foster knows. Miss Foster thinks women like her should be leading the community, and you are supposed to be cannon fodder for her war against white men. They're not really waging no war against white men. They want to get nice and comfortable and tuck themselves under white male scrotum. But theoretically, women like her should be the leaders. You should move around, huh? You should get real comfortable being directed and told what to do by the Miss Fosters of the world. And if you're not, and if you don't, then you're a sexist, misogynistic monster. Huh? Now, if it would have been a black woman who was getting passed around by the white dudes, there would have been no goddamn meeting and no talk about fraternization. She just would have been being passed around by the white guys. Maybe one of them might, maybe, possibly, probably not, catch feelings for her and try to wife her. Probably not. Or they would have just left her out there, and one of us unsuspecting brothers would have tried to wife her after the fact. One of you that didn't know about what she was doing in the barracks. Huh? And then you wonder why when you go visit her or when you with her at work, the white guys are looking at you and sniggling and giggling. There would have been no goddamn meeting about some black woman that was being passed around by the white guys, by the white nurses, by the white generals. Huh? She just was being passed around. That's all. But of course they call a meeting on the black man. Of course. Huh? So we're going to play this one more again so we could appropriately and adequately torture y'all. But before we play that, let's play this. Shout out to Compassion and Callous. Yes, I saw. As a matter of fact, shout out to Compassion and Callous for real, for real. Brother, you're not just some guy in the black manosphere. You are also one of the geniuses in this space. Right? Yeah, you compile a bunch of our stuff, but it's not just the rest of us. Right? You're included in this also. Shout out to Compassion and Callous. I watched the whole thing. Thank you very much. Right? Thank you very much. Yes, and yes, I do have a whole lot more quotes where all of that came from. But yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I checked it out last night. I was listening because Mr. Z was knocked out. Of course, I think I have to, no, I not even think. I left a comment, and I was like, of course you play, you do kind of like a celebration stream for me when I'm asleep. The one time Mr. Z is knocked the hell out and sleeps past his timer because Mr. Z, yeah, I don't be getting no sleep, and I still put timer on the little bit of sleep I do have that I could just sleep all night. I don't be sleeping all night, but I actually overslept and I slept past the timer, or I didn't set it the right way. And I wake up and you go through your what you're subscribed to and all everything in your timeline, and I see Compassion. I was like, oh, Compassion did a live stream again, and I look and I was like, oh crap, it was towards me, it was for me, and yeah, of course I was asleep. Of course I was asleep, right? And shout out to Compassion, I saw it. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But yeah, so we're gonna play this from Compassion's channel, and then we're gonna play something one more again for effect. Here we go.
These are the women who see themselves as members of a marginalized group. They see themselves as being disadvantaged. Thus, they are in a constant apology to whites, seeking to reclaim inclusion. So they've been pushed out, and they're constantly apologizing, begging to get back into the group. They've been pushed out of the clubhouse, and they're constantly knocking on the door. Can I please get back into the clubhouse, please, Mr. Bill? And, and this whole herd mentality thing that they got. Their goal is respectability, and they try to get to this respectability goal by self-policing. Who do they police? They police black men. They don't police themselves. So they encourage black men to uplift themselves, their social values, their financial standards, to their life, so that they are compatible to mainstream values, white values. That's the reason that they're...
Miss Foster, message! Miss Foster, message! Huh? While you talking crazy, message! Huh? And one more again for torturous effect. Here you go, guys, go.
One of the craziest developments about the era that we're in is the proliferation of people, particularly men, who are both anti-patriarchy and anti-feminist. What do I mean by that? There's an idea that patriarchy just means men doing whatever they want. No. Patriarchy is very heavily policed, but it's policed by men in order to keep the structural social order sound. Patriarchy is men acting in very narrowly prescribed way, and if you get out of line, who makes you get back in line? Other men. People say the black community is a matriarchy. No, you can't have a matriarchy within a patriarchy. Like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We're living in, what bell hooks will call an imperialist
When
white
she's
supremacist
poking herself in the
patriarchy,
temple,
right?
she's
That's
calling you
in
dumb,
every
by
structure,
the
in every
way.
institution. It's in our socialization. Okay. What can happen is the men of a community lose the desire or the capacity to police each other effectively, and the prescribed patriarchal social order crumbles, deteriorates significantly. And then after an extended period of those men not having the capacity or desire to police each other, then they say, well, actually freedom is we just do whatever we want and it's the women's fault. What's so crazy is the anti-patriarchy, anti-feminists, men just want to do whatever they want men, are actually adopting feminist talking points. And I don't know if they know it, or I don't know if they care. But what the feminists have always said is, in patriarchy, male privilege comes with male obligation and male subjugation. You can't get male privilege without male duty, male responsibility, because you have to uphold the social order, and you're going to be forced to uphold the social order via what? Subjugation. So that means within any patriarchy, there are going to be some men who
Look
are
at her
gonna have to
face.
lay the fuck down. And in this one, it's black men. So now you see
Oh, she loved
why
it.
we
Oh,
look
she
at the
loves
men going
saying
so
it.
hard for
Oh,
patriarchy
she loves
crazy.
saying it.
Y'all are down
Oh, she
because
loves
other
every
men
minute
push
of
you there.
saying that.
And then you see why we look at the anti-patriarchy, anti-feminist crazy. Because y'all want male privilege, male rule, male domination without male duty, male responsibility, or male obligation. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you know what a great example of this is? Child support. Men get mad at women for child support when child support is structured through the U.S. criminal legal system. Who runs that system? Who created it? Who develops the rules? Not women, and certainly not black women. Child support is a great example of how patriarchal structures, white supremacist capitalists, patriarchal structures force men to get in line. So if you think you're being oppressed by child support, you're being oppressed by who? And I know somebody's going to say, oh, well, the women file. Why do the women have to file? Why aren't you, as a wannabe patriarch, voluntarily taking care of your children? Patriarchy literally means of the father. You're not a patriarch. My dad, old school patriarch, literally used to say, men who don't take care of their kids.
Shout out to you, girl dads.
That's old school patriarch. The new school patriarchs want to justify men abandoning their children. Can't relate. Can't relate. That's new to me. But sometimes women don't even have a choice. Do you know that in many states, when women file for state benefits like cash aid, the state requires them also to file a child support enforcement order because the state wants to recover the money from the father? Patriarchy.
She loved it. Hey, like I said before, dear black community, if what you're telling us is on the other end of walking across that stage, college graduation, whether that's undergrad, whether that's advanced degree, whether that's terminal degree, if what you're saying is there's a Miss Foster waiting at the finish line, then we ain't walking. We'll take that L. Miss Foster, if you are what is waiting for the quote unquote winners, I know, well, clearly the majority of men would rather take the L on the forehead. If being with you and your $300,000 a year is what winning looks like, they would rather earn 60 and 70 and be losers. Earn 80 and be losers. Earn 50,000 and be losers. If this is what the trophy quote unquote wife looks like, trophy girlfriend looks like, oh boy, this is what winning looks like. Being with a Miss Foster? Ugh. Huh? Absolutely not. With that, yo, look, Mr. Z, it is about time. I ain't gonna let y'all guess me for 3 hours. I ain't gonna do it. So we gonna pause right here. Love piece of chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. Well, actually, before we do that, I wanted to play these for y'all because I wanted to emphasize, and I said this to Obsidian when him and Miss Foster were kind of having their situation, their back and forth. And I said to Obsidian, These people claim left until you start talking about black men. If y'all remember, I was on Obsidian channel, and I think I said that to him when he was on my channel. I don't recall, but I definitely said that to him twice on his channel, actually. They claim left until you start talking about black men, and they turn really conservative. And he said, interesting, you actually have a good point there, right? Now, he could have just been saying that because to move on with the conversation, or he could have said that because he had never really considered that. Either way, the Kim Fosters of the world, they might actually be genuine leftists. They want to talk about systemic issues and things that hinder people, things that are in people's way, oppressive systems. Z, could you get it out? I'm used to saying systems of oppression. That's why. But right, they might really mean that. But when it comes time to talk about black men, those same women that are leftists and liberals and supposed progressives, all of a sudden are really, really conservative. I wonder what happened. They're really, really conservative when it comes time to talk about black men and the plights of black men and the issues that black men face. Oh boy. And Dylan says she ain't got no kids. Why is she worried? She may have kids eventually. She's been in the relationship with her man for over a year now. It's probably going on 2 years now, if not a little bit more than that. I could see him proposing to her, right? So why does she care? First, because she may have children eventually. Secondly, because she doesn't actually care, because it's a way to jab at black men. These people will cover story. They don't actually care. They don't actually care, right? It's another way. Like, notice she called herself and she mentioned that she might have been going down the misandry road a little bit. She mentioned it like 2 or 3 times. That's what it's about. It's about mocking you, making fun of you, getting her 5 chuckles in, and other black women like her getting their 5 chuckles in at black boys and black men's expense. That's what you get for not breaking yourselves and being at their quote unquote finish line. Men like you should make yourselves available for women like her at the highest level. And because men like you, Dylan, weren't checking for a woman like her or a girl like her in high school and a woman like her in college, then you deserve to be made fun of. So just making sure we get that out the way. Look, this is who Miss Foster and her ilk are. And I definitely want to cover this. I want to cover something else about women being used as counter insurgents. I have the materials, I already cut it up, but for me to cover it with this, because it actually goes hand in hand with this, it's just going to be too long of a stream. And Z got things to do. This is a reckless stream. So with that, we will pause right here. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. Z, do your outro correctly. You are right. You are right. So we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. Excuse me. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. And Mr. Z out. All right, y'all.